5 p.m. I could read.
You ready to get out?
Welcome to everyone. Is everybody's mic on? Mine is. Everybody's good?
The light on.
My
Okay.
light's on.
Gina, would you read the first?
We'll have to read the resolution. To clarify, this is the monthly work session of the mayor and council. This is a meeting that is held each month to allow members to discuss specific items in preparation for the regular council meeting, which is held on second Tuesday of each month. The dialogue of this meeting will be between the mayor, council, and staff members only. The time for citizen involvement will come at the regular meeting to be held next Tuesday during the citizens' input proportion of the meeting. We respectfully ask that you hold your comments or questions until the time unless called upon. Thank you. And after the meeting is over, we ask that you promptly leave and disperse. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And first item of business, Gina.
Item 1, request for the appointment of Pete Brown to the Industrial Development Board for the council to approve. Councilman Michael.
Yes, as y'all know, that we've had several open board positions on the Industrial Development Board. One of them as late as May 2023 and the other one a lot more recently. The board anticipates another opening this summer with the resignation and or retirement of someone. So they want to begin to fill these positions so that they're not in trouble with no members. I'd like to bring forward Pete Brown's name. Pete has a 40-year career in industrial chemical sales where he traveled extensively. So he knows a lot of different industries, not just one. So he can bring that knowledge to the board, and he's willing to give his time. His wife is a retired Marshall County educator, so their roots are here in the city of Lewisburg. In fact, he lives in Ward 2. Mr. Brown is here, and he's generously agreed to stay after the meeting tonight, because I know Linda, you don't know him, I don't think Shannon knows him as well, so y'all can go introduce yourselves, set up a meeting, or whatever you need to do to squelch, to ensure that he is a correct candidate for the board. So I'll be bringing his name next Tuesday.
Okay, comments?
You're talking about to the term July 1, 2029,
It's
right?
an unexpired term, I believe, of Mr. Ritter.
Yeah, but there's two here, one expiring in 25 this year, and next one 29.
Right,
So
and the one that's
I'm
expiring
I'm
is,
assuming you're requesting the longest term, 2029,
yes,
right?
yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. On the agenda Tuesday, number 2.
Item 2, discuss funding of the employer contribution of $57,000 for the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, known as TCRS, prior service option for employees who were completing their One America waiting period at the time the pension plan froze. Debbie Montgomery.
Okay, this is in regards to the study that y'all chose to do to determine what the cost would be for those 26 employees to buy back their time between their One America waiting and then when they had to join TCRS. We received that study and we've talked to TCRS. For those employees to be able to apply to purchase that time back, the city's liability would be it's actually $57,061 that would have to be remitted to the state TCRS as our contribution for that time to be bought back before any one employee can apply to buy back their service. That's a solid number. It doesn't change if one employee wanted to apply or if all 26 wanted to. That is our portion that we have to send to the state. Also, if you decide to pay that liability, also our percentage will increase from 6.9%. Our contribution rate will go to 7%. It's a small increase, but it will go to 7%. This also would require a budget amendment and would come from fund balance. Like I said, it's a set amount. It's not gonna change, but it has to be funded before any one employee can even apply to find out how much it would cost for their portion, to buy back their time. Some was few months, some was over a year. So that's
Is the longest over a year?
It's about 18 months.
Okay, and so this is just the amount for TCRS to tell us what they would owe?
This is a contribution into our pension plan at TCRS that is
Okay.
our liability. If
This
we
is
were to
our
fund-
liability,
Yes,
okay.
if we were to fund all 26 of those employees' time back, that would have been our contribution to do that.
Do the employees know how much they would owe?
They will not know until they apply, but we would have to send in the
Well, the
$57,061
18 month
first.
Yeah, okay, all right.
So
Good.
that would,
Go ahead, Mike, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
There's about 26, you said. If only 15 decided to apply, then that money would just stay in the pension
That,
plan?
it does.
Okay.
We're just contributing to the liability, and
Future
it's still,
liability.
yeah, it's our
Yeah.
future liability. It
Yeah.
wouldn't, and those are the only two things, is that $57,061 and the increase in that rate from 6.9 to 7%.
And this is only for the employees that, once the One America was frozen.
Yes.
that
And
the
they were in their waiting
period
period,
For a year.
yes.
So they're eligible now or coming up.
They have enrolled in TCRS. As of the April 1, they enrolled at that time. It's the only pension plan they could have enrolled in at the time, because we had frozen One America.
Did everybody enroll, basically? Those
Oh.
26?
Yes,
Okay,
it's
okay.
required to enroll in
But
TCRS.
they won't know their liability until.
They won't know their liability until you vote to,
Now, can the state help them with the payback of?
no, it has to be funded from the employee.
From the employee,
And
out of their-
then
out
we
of their
have to
paycheck.
fund the $57,061.
Got it.
There will be a resolution that will have to be passed. I hope to get that from TCRS before next week's meeting, but in the short, a roll call vote would be helpful. If you know you're not going to pass it, then there would be no reason for a resolution. But the resolution has to come from TCRS in their wording, so he's supposed to be working on that for me. I could have it, I might not have it, but before. It could be March before I actually have the resolution on the agenda, but you can go ahead and vote on whether you want to fund the 57,000 or not.
Did you not inform us that, it costs us 7,000 city, whether it's one or the 26?
Yes, 1 or 20, it doesn't matter.
These 26 are gonna take advantage of it.
Correct. When they find out how much it costs, they might opt not to. We still have to pay the 57,061.
But you do not tell us typically that most cities that have brought this forward decline to do it.
Well, that's what Mr. Armistead at TCRS, when we spoke with him, he said a lot of cities choose to do their due diligence and find out, and then find out it's quite a bit of money, and they choose not to move forward.
Maybe between now and then, we could choose to find out how many are really serious about doing that. So,
And we can ask
Is that-
them.
But they don't know their cost,
They don't
right?
know their
They
cost.
won't know their cost, and even if it's just one, we still owe the 57,000.
You know, that, I'd hate to pay 57,000 and two people
Mhm.
apply, so can somebody give us some kind of guesstimate of what it would take, maybe $1,000?
They would not give that information until the application has been sent to
Mhm.
TCRS, because it's a long process to determine what that value is. They have to go through a similar study to figure out what the amount is.
It's another actuarial study for each individual. So
It's gonna be based on their, what they made, their salary during that time period, and then there's all kinds of factors that go into
And
that.
what is their, what is the contribution rate by the employee?
Into TCRS, contribution rate's 5%.
So, it might be 5% of, in the worst case, 18 months of,
And
I
there's
think-
an interest factor.
Yes, it'll be more than
You have to
5% in the
factor
end.
Whatever the interest assumption rate is on the plan, so it's a little bit more than just taking 5% of the earnings forever, however many months that they work, so. That's what Debbie's saying, it's a lot more.
More
involved
to
with
it,
this
yeah.
than doing that.
Some of them, some of them are waiting 18 months and then some of them.
Some is a
12.
month, 2 months, all the way, different times, depending on their hire date.
So they're not really on the pension plan until, do y'all have another alternative?
no, they're on the pension.
They're on the pension plan. They enrolled into TCRS as of April 1 of '24. That was their only option at that point. We had frozen the One America plan that they were in their waiting period to complete their waiting period to join One America. But since we froze that plan, TCRS was their pension option. That was the only one.
So I guess, and telling off the mayor, if we don't do the 57,000, are they still gonna be able to get on there?
They're in.
They're- yeah.
April 1 was their.
But they're
is
in
their
a different
It
program.
was
Yeah.
mandatory, they had to enroll when the TCRS was rolled out for all employees.
They're not on a different one. They're on
It's the same
TCRS as of April 1,
Yes.
2024.
But it was just because it was frozen
But-
at that time?
They, our old one, they had to wait a year.
I see.
So they, some of them might have lost 1 month, or some of them lost 18 months.
Depending on what their hire date was. If they were hired in August of a year, they're gonna wait almost 2 years before they would have went on One America. So,
So if they'd only been here 4 months, they could have still, they can still sign up for the consolidated at that time. Was there any waiting period to get on the Tennessee Consolidated?
on TCRS, no waiting period.
So
If you
They
went
can
on
do it
April
when you're
1st,
hired,
yes,
you can go
yes,
on it. I got it.
yes.
This is the ones that were back in that.
Yeah, they were sort of in a holding pattern.
Basically, correct me if I'm wrong, what that does is add up to, the worst case, a year and a half to, their service years. Is that fair to say?
I'm not sure the partial year will add a whole lot.
A multiplier is 1.5%, I believe, of their earnings, for each year, 1.5%. So one thing that kind of, just if you're thinking, it kind of dovetails with the next item, instead of, if people don't, if they didn't move forward with this, people might think, well, I'm losing out on up to 18 months of accrual, okay? But if we move on to the next item, it's what the 401K, instead of buying into the defined benefit plan, they could take money and put it into the 401K if the council
Which might draw more,
might, so they might be able to offset some of that diminished pensionable earnings of the defined benefit with having money in the 401K with no cost to the city that way.
Debbie, is it possible we could pay that $57,000 and none of the employees would opt to buy their share? I mean, is that feasible?
that $57,000 has to be paid, and even if they wanted to apply a year from now, they could still go back and apply for that time, the prior service. So we wouldn't know. I mean, somebody might say they're going to apply to recover that prior service, but if they don't, we're paying into our pension plan regardless. It's not like we're losing money. It's just that do you want a budget amendment and fund balance to be used to fund extra that we wouldn't be normally funding? And like Alan, I agree with that. If we opt to allow our employees to do a payroll deduction for this 401K with TCRS, it is a way for whoever wants to take the money they would have had to contribute to get their prior service, is to push that into the 401K, and that can be up to $23,500 a year. A minimum of 1% or $10, but, I mean, that's another option, which that doesn't cost the city any money.
To your point, Councilwoman, no one has to apply for it. It could be one or two. We don't know, but it still costs us that $57,000. Am I correct?
That's correct.
in that. What did the budget committee recommend? Was
This
there a
hasn't,
It'd been 4 months, yeah.
This,
motion? Was there, we
this
discussed it, was
discussion
there a
has
motion?
not been discussed at the budget committee itself. The budget committee recommended to council to move forward with the study.
and we did.
And so, which is what we did, so, we felt we would just bring, since the budget committee just recommended the study, we brought the results of the study to council directly.
So do we need to go back to the budget committee to study more details, or what,
There is,
what's
No
your,
other
Alan,
details?
what's your recommendation?
Well, my recommendation is, I mean, $57,000 is not budgeted. It's a, would require a budget amendment out of fund balance. So, I would not recommend that, but I would recommend that the city, move forward with offering a 401K plan through TCRS for all employees. That'd be no cost to the city. As I said, it'd be a way for employees to shelter, through pre-tax contributions, build up to $23,000 a year. And it's portable too, so in case they left before, in the other case of the defined benefit, if you leave before a certain number of years, you're not vested, whereas 401K, you would be able to, you vest at a lot sooner time. I'm not sure what that time is, but, it's more portable, I believe, than the defined benefit.
It's more affordable to the employee and to the city.
Well, affordable, yeah, the city would not have to pay, contribute to the 401K. It's purely employee contributory.
Should we refer that back to the budget committee for further study, so we're all clear on it? I'm not.
I
I'm
don't
not
think so.
totally-
I don't know
I think
that
we
we can
can,
add anything other than, this
The
was all we
budget,
were-
the budget committee voted to have the study done so we would understand the city's liability. And they've done that, and the city's liability is 57,000, so I'm not sure, I mean, our question was answered.
Yeah, it's nothing different's coming out of the budget committee. It's
Yeah,
up
it's
to the results of the study, say it's gonna cost the city $57,000. Do we do it, or do we not?
I'd like to take the recommendation of Mr. Owen and do the 401K.
Is that the next item?
Mhm.
Yes,
That's the
yes.
next item.
So can we have it on the agenda for a roll call vote to vote it up or down, so I
The
can,
401K?
no, the
Number
prior
two.
service?
Oh,
The
the
57,000.
I'll need a vote to pursue or not to pursue, so,
I think so.
is that
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
We could
Okay.
bring it, and it could
Yeah.
go up or down.
Right, that's all I
And then
need
we
to
could
know
also
at that
have
point.
The other option available to us, is that correct?
Yes, the next option is totally separate from the first one.
Well, let's go ahead and do the
Okay.
resolution for Tuesday, and we can vote that up or down.
It's a roll call vote,
It's just a
Mayor.
roll
call
It's
vote.
just a roll
Well,
call,
Roll
yeah.
call vote regardless. But then we'll also have on the table, the next item as an
Do you wanna read?
alternative, is that
Stay right there. Okay,
the way I'm understanding it?
I don't know if it's an alternative, but it's
In
a
addition to.
supplemental
Yes,
too.
Yeah, in addition
Yeah,
to, we
yeah.
can
They really
also
aren't
offer
related.
this.
At all, we just
Well,
thought
you
that's a
could
good
do one or
way.
the other.
Well, right, but you wouldn't, well, number 3 hasn't been called yet, so,
y'all ready?
yeah.
Okay. Item number 3, discuss to allow employees to contribute to the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, known as TCRS 401K plan. This will be an employee-only contribution, and it will require a resolution. Debbie Montgomery.
So to me, this isn't an either or was what I was gonna say. This one, number 3, is offering our employees a vehicle for investing for the future
Right.
at no expense to the city. So it's not an either or to the number 2.
You
It's
can-
in
You
addition
can
to.
vote,
I
you
thought I
can vote them up,
understood
both up or
Mr.
down.
I thought I understood.
He was saying
that.
that's just, I guess, I don't wanna put words in his mouth, but I understood him to say that that was a pathway they could use instead of.
They could.
Yes.
If we didn't do the
If they
50,
could.
if we didn't do the
Right,
57,000.
right. That would be, if we voted it in.
I mean,
we'd
the
have-
council could certainly agree to do both. I mean, that would be the
Sure.
alternative, but given financial budget constraints, I mean, why not do the 401K? That way employees could at least be pumping some money into that to offset whatever their benefit that would have been reduced in the
So,
We'll have a resolution on, for that, or a roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
the three, yeah.
Councilman, do you want to say something?
No,
There
I
will be
did-
a resolution for the 401K.
Right.
Let me back up
Me
for a minute.
too.
401K was always a part of phase 3 of our plan to do TCRS. We're just now getting to the phase 3 portion of our whole TCRS process. So the 401K is totally separate from the prior service. This is an option that costs the city no money, and but it has to have a resolution passed by the council for TCRS to allow us to buy into the 401K. It can, in the future, if the council so chose to, can do a match to the employees up to 3%. There's a 3% cap on a contribution by and also in that final phase, I'll just say, we're also looking to study to see if TCRS can administer our old plan and try to save money. That was also a part of phase 3, if who was here at that time remembers that we were gonna try to do that also, to see if they could administer the old plan and save us some money.
So we'll have two roll call votes for each item. We can vote up and down on each one Tuesday.
The prior service will be a roll call vote, the 401K will be a resolution
Resolution.
from TCRS.
But you'll have the resolution.
I'll have it either for the meeting, or we'll push it to the March meeting, depending on when James Armistead can get the resolution to me. And he thought it would be this week, so should be on there.
Well, that'll give us time to study on the 57,000
Okay.
required. Okay, any other questions?
Item 4, discuss new website design, Councilman Burns.
Yeah, I just want to bring up the council to see if there's any interest to completely redesign the website. Hiring a professional company to do it, train our people to maintain it, get better graphics, since Chris is here with planning and zoning now, to see if we can put stuff from the planning commission or planning and zoning to see where projects are, that the public could look on it and see what's available. So I just wanted to see if there is any interest. Don't know what it would cost. We'd have to have employees look maybe over the next 60 days to come up with a private company doing that and advancing us in the future. So I guess what I'm asking is there interest to ask employees to get us a price on it, or just leave it like it is?
What's your feelings?
Well, I could see looking at it for 2026's budget process, but I am not going to approve anything that goes into our fund balance.
Well, I'm not either. What I'm saying is, we're gonna have to have a cost even before we can put it in the budget.
So I'm for looking at it during the
So I'm
budget
not
process.
asking to spend money, just
Yeah.
get some kind of quotes or design fees or things like that, not asking to come back before
Yeah, that's,
July 1 to spend any funds.
yeah, that's a budget item. I see it as a budget item.
I'd like to see what options are out there, particularly those that would be easily modifiable by current staff,
Mhm.
that we don't have to farm out changes. You know, things change on
Yeah.
a regular basis, and it'd be nice if our departments could each train someone who could make those changes as they occur.
I'd visit the city manager and the department heads if it was ever redesigned, to everybody have input on it, what their department could use and make it user-friendly.
And that's the way it works. Two different things here. Web design and then department heads being able to go into the web page and take care of their portion of it are two different things, okay?
Can they
Yes,
do that
they
now?
would be able to go in there and put dates on the calendar and all that. I mean, Gina goes in there and updates our meeting schedule and all that. You can do that. That's separate from web design.
No, I understand.
Web design is somebody coming in, you're looking at a minimum, this is minimum probably. I could be off 25,000. Then you have to have somebody to administer it as well. So, yes, we've looked at that option, but we know it's a monetary thing that's going to hold it back. What I would like to see before we do any of that, I think, and it's just me thinking, I think we need an IT audit altogether, because we have no IT department, we have nobody that's in control of our IT, sets rules and standards. It's all about cybersecurity. And an IT audit would tell us how vulnerable we are to a cybersecurity problem. Not saying we are, not saying we aren't, but we would need an outside source to come in and prove that we are, because if we're vulnerable to cybersecurity, what's the point of setting up a new web page and all of
Well,
that?
I
And we,
agree
you know
with
what I'm
that.
saying?
I
So,
agree with
so,
that.
yeah, we want it. We want a very user-friendly web page. But I think we've got to get some other things in place before we delve into that to make it effective.
What do we need to do to get a price for that? What you thinking we need to do?
We'll just have to make a few phone calls, and because, you know, there are grants out there that you can get if you're at a certain level of cybersecurity. And we actually even tried to input on some, and we couldn't get past 2 questions.
Mhm.
So it
Now,
just,
we did do something with Tinwell so we wouldn't be held hostage.
we have,
That's a different
we
item.
have some stop gaps in there, but cybersecurity thieves and stuff are very smart. They could penetrate us easier than we think, but we don't know that until we get a cybersecurity audit. Some independent person coming in, checking out our IT, where are we vulnerable, what do we need to tighten up on, this and that.
The fear was.
But I agree with the web design and all that. We need a user-friendly page.
Yeah.
Well, Bam, at the very least, why don't we make somebody make some phone calls and see what companies are out there that can provide that audit service and what the
Yes.
baseline costs are.
That's where I wanna go
I
first.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
that, doing that first. I don't have a problem with that.
I get a email on a regular basis for different ones wanting to build us a website. So there's people out there that are anxious to do it. It's a matter of cost. I think what we did before with Tinwell, we were afraid of being held hostage and they could shut us down.
Yes,
So we have something
we've
in
got-
place for that.
we've got some cybersecurity in there, but you don't know how safe you are till you get an official audit. Yeah, you got firewalls, but they go through a firewall like it's not there. That's why.
Well, that's the first step. I mean, if we could get some prices for that, I'm in agreement with the rest of the
Is
council.
anybody good with pursuing that in that form?
Thank you.
What's next?
Item number 5, request for the appointment of Millie Summers to the Cemetery Advisory Committee by Mayor Jim Bingham. Recommendation for council to approve. Roll call vote. Mayor.
Well, Millie has volunteered to do it, and that is one of the hardest appointments to fill for positions. She is dedicated to the cemetery. And that's, you know, how many total do we have cemeteries? It's not just Lone Oak.
I thought it was 10.
That we take care of. I mean, we've got a slew of them, but the efforts we put into it are 5, 6, I don't know, I'd have to look at it.
It's several, it's not just.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
just one
it's
of them.
5 or 6.
Mayor, I'm not quite familiar with her. Can you tell us a little bit more about her? So maybe I know her and just don't know I know her.
Is she here?
Yes,
Millie,
Millie, would
where
you
are
come?
Well, bless you.
Oh, there you go. All right, good.
Okay. Thank you, Millie.
Hi. That's not my legal name. My legal name is Amelia. I just
Okay.
go by Millie. What do you
Well-
want to know about me?
Well, no, I just, whatever you want to tell us. But I know your face, so I do know you, I just didn't know.
Well, I
Whatever
just
you
feel
like
like
to
that
tell.
a lot of times the cemeteries get forgot. So I know that when I go out there, sometimes I don't like the way that they look. So I just feel like that's people that can't speak for themselves. So they need somebody to speak for them. And and my mouth is pretty big, and I do know how to speak up for people. And I just feel like that's an asset, because I got a lot of family that is there at the cemetery.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Yeah, well, thank you.
you're welcome.
I appreciate your interest. Whoa, somebody turned the volume up. Any further question for Millie? Okay, next item.
Next item is item number 6, request for the appointment of Emily Gordon to the Board of Zoning Appeals by Mayor Jim Bingham. Recommendation for council to approve.
This is for the unexpired term of Eleanor Foster, who has served in that position for, I can't tell you how many years. She may originally been a Bob Phillips appointment, which that makes it an ancient appointment, at least tell Bob that. But Emily Gordon is an active person in the community. I know she takes a leadership role in a lot of organizations, including the Daughters of the American Revolution. And I know no one of any higher character or more capable than Emily Gordon. Is there any questions about her? Okay, let's go on to the
Alrighty.
next one, please.
We're going to skip item number 7. Mayor has taken that off for stormwater. And we're going to item number 8, request to dispose of an old computer that no longer works at the Recreation Center.
Anybody with questions about that?
Just how we gonna dispose it in the hard drive and make sure it's clear and nobody gets it? Are we gonna sell it as surplus or?
Yeah, it'll follow the same process of disposing of city property. The old computer's already been wiped clean and all
Okay,
that, so
okay.
we got a little documentation in place of how we dispose of stuff.
Without exception, we can put that on the agenda that's a resolution?
No, it's a roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call,
Mhm.
okay. All right, next, please.
Item number 9, discuss social media policy for elected officials. Councilman Michael.
Okay, back in December, I asked Mr. Mr. Hutto to work on this social media policy. And it's attached. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to read it. I like this because it's very simple. Basically, all you have to do is state that you're on the official business, or this is my personal feeling. I don't believe it needs to be a policy so much, but a resolution, because the policy manuals for employees and elected officials are not employees. And that would be the only thing that I have to change. Otherwise, I think it's very concise, right to the point.
Questions?
Yeah, I have the same interest as, I'm not on social media, period, unless somebody puts me up there, but, as I stated, it's like if somebody's on social media and then they use a fake name and they're still on social media, what's gonna combat that?
Well, you cannot legislate every single thing,
Yeah,
and I don't believe you can legislate that.
yeah, I think
But
so.
I am very adamant about this social media policy because as an employer, they look at a potential employee's social media post. As a person wanting to move to the city, they have a potential to look at it. Business people that may want to open a restaurant or a small business on the square looks at it. Industry looks at it. Everybody looks at social media. And I would like the city of Lewisburg and this council to be represented in a good way. And I can't stop the people that are gonna say bad things. You can't. But we can stop our council from saying bad things.
What about the employees?
The employees have a policy, and we've used it, and that's why we need one for
I'm aware
us
we use
as
it
well.
now.
Pardon me?
No, I'm aware we've used it for
Yes.
employees. I just wanna make sure the fakeness and stuff, everybody understands that.
Well, I would,
Because I'm
yeah.
not on it, and I don't plan to get on it.
Okay, is that a resolution or an ordinance?
That will be a resolution, right, Mr. Hutto, or?
Well, I honestly think the best place to put this, if it were to get adopted, would be an ordinance in the ethics section of the municipal code, just as a new section saying, this is, the city council members will create, if they're gonna be on social media, create an official, city council account for them, and that's separate from their personal account, and generally according to these guidelines. If these guidelines are acceptable to everyone, or we can change them, but I think it would be the best fit in as an ordinance in that ethics section of the municipal code.
It works.
Will you have time to get that together for next Tuesday, or it'll be?
If that's what the council wants to do, we probably get it into an ordinance that could be reviewed and either voted on the next meeting or in March, one or the other, if there are any changes.
Which are you more comfortable with?
I should be able to make this into an ordinance
For Tuesday?
for Tuesday.
Okay, without objection, that'll be on for an ordinance, first reading. Next item.
Item number 10, discuss amending Title II, Chapter 5 in the Lewisburg Municipal Codes pertaining to appointment of committees/board members. Councilman Crutcher.
Well, I just want to express my opinion on the Title II, Chapter 5 concerning the mayor's authority to appoint individuals to boards at his discretion. The mayor has led 3 terms and always put the best interests of the city and the citizens first. I feel it's necessary for us as the council to have the power to confirm his appointments. I also feel the council confirmation delays the process, and what do we as the council gain from taking control of these appointments? So with that being said, I wish the council would reconsider amending Title II, Chapter 5, and restore the mayor's authority to appoint the citizens who just want to donate their free time to try and make Lewisburg better.
Comments?
I mean, I'm not for that, Mayor, which I've told you, council and the past attorney worked long and hard to do this. And I think this was never about our sitting mayor. It was about mayors to come and future mayors and make sure there's enough checks and balances in place so I'm not for changing it for those reasons. And like I say, it doesn't have anything to do with our sitting mayor, it's future mayors.
Well, I would agree with you. I voted for it as well, for future mayors. But that's not what's happened. It is my opinion that this has been good people who are donating the time have been held hostage by this council for other reasons, unknown. So yes, I'm for changing it back.
Further comments?
I'd like to see it just stay the way it is. I don't see the harm in having council approve the appointments.
Further comments? Okay, that'll be on the, as I say, ordinance
Yes, it will be an ordinance.
for
Correct.
Tuesday. Okay. Next,
Number 11, other business.
anybody with any other business? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Councilwoman Michael makes the motion. Is
Second.
Councilwoman Linda Thomas
Yes.
seconds that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you all. Are we on?